Welcome back to Book Bree and Novelness. I'm Bree, and today we're talking about romances that you may not know about, part 3. Yes, part 3 is finally in the making because of you. You guys all together, thank you so much for the love to this series. I can't wait to make even more. Doing romantic research is like one of my specialties. Oh, and we're friends here, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd be glad to talk to you. So grab your drinks and snacks and let's chat. I can't wait. I can't wait. Think of a man, a debonair, handsome man in uniform, who is a brave and brilliant astronaut.
What about him?
And with the most beautiful eyes. As Anthony Mackie would say, we'll let you know where home is. Wait, who was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about Major Anthony Nelson from I Dream of Genie.
If he's not eligible, why is he included in these pictures?
Although Sebastian Stan is dreamy too. Yes, we can all concur with that.
I just love to look at him.
Me too.
Your Majesty.
But we're talking about I Dream of Genie with Major Anthony Nelson and Genie, played by Larry Hagman and the lovely Barbara Eden. We're going back to the 60s. Welcome to the 60s. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. If you can't tell, I'm a musical girly. So before he becomes Major, he is Captain Anthony Nelson, and he arrives back from a space mission. And upon his descent, he washes ashore onto this deserted island. And on this island, he sees a beautiful bottle. Of course, he's like, okay, what is, I'm just intrigued, I'm curious, I'm a scientist. He picks up the bottle and lo and behold, you have Genie appear. And this is not your ordinary Genie, okay? She is just absolutely elegant, gorgeous, lovely. And the captain is instantly mesmerized by her. So then later she tells him that she is his Genie and he doesn't want any part in that, so he sets her free. So Genie, with her newfound freedom, she decides to go along with him because she wants to see the world, and who doesn't want to see the world with a fine astronaut? Okay, so I don't blame her. But y'all, the chemistry on this show, like episode 1, like you would think it takes time for chemistry to build and to see things work out on screen. No, instantly you knew. The moment they lay eyes on each other, you're like,
As I live and breathe.
and then you think you're like, okay, it can't get any better than this. But it does, like, you're like, what? How's that even possible? Like, how does the passion and the chemistry just intensify even more every season? I was eating this up. Especially the way they talk to one another. Like, darling, you know I love you. I was like, oh my gosh, like, it doesn't quite have the tier of Pride and Prejudice, okay? But it definitely is near that. People are like, why don't people talk like that anymore? I feel like we do. We just need to take time with our words and write letters again, okay? Bring up the romance, like the longing. I think that's what we want. Like, that's it. Just think out what you're going to say and then write it down, memorize it, and then say it aloud.
Because I didn't even need to see you to know that I wanted to spend forever with you.
Is that too much to ask?
That didn't make a ton of sense, did it?
While Genie does whatever she wants because she is that girl,
She's got a point.
many other tales have told us that genies usually grant 3 wishes. What if those 3 wishes turned into 3 handsome suitors trying to marry you? Imagine that.
Shut up!
And that brings us to Marry Me, the 2010 miniseries. Okay, not the one with J-Lo. And who was that? Owen Wilson? Okay, not that one, even though we have a little love for that one. But my favorite, okay, Marry Me, is the 2010 Lucy Liu and Stephen Pascal series on Lifetime. Has anybody seen it? Has anybody? If you've seen it, feel free to put it in the comments down below and give that series some love, because it was really good. It was really good. I'm talking this up. I'm gonna tell you, if you don't know much about it, let me clue you in. Here we have this woman who is really excited about the relationship she's in, and she's ready for the next step. So when her boyfriend takes her on this like really expensive dinner and he has some big news to share with her, she's like, oh, this is it. Like, this is the guy. Like, this is the moment I'm gonna get proposed to. And he decides to share news about success in his job. Awkward.
Something awkward about the word awkward.
So she decides to say, you know what? I'm gonna let this relationship go because we're obviously not on the same page. And the next love that she wants to have is that forever love. She wants that fairy tale, romantic, whimsical love that will last a lifetime. So, lifetime on lifetime, get it? Okay, I know I'm corny, I know I was born this way. Her mom also gives a suggestion. She's like, you know, I have someone in mind. And so she's like, you know what? No harm, no foul. I'll go out with him and see what happens. And this guy ends up being really cute, and they're getting along. The wit is the banter. The banter is what I'm living for in this movie. 10 out of 10. If you watch the Andrew Garfield, Amelia de Bogenberg interview and you absolutely loved it, you were heads over heels for their love, like that is it. They made it into a series, and now you get to see what they could have had, okay? Because Andrew be playing.
Rude.
He ends up being an eligible suitor. He also has a friend. And there's one more surprise in there. So they have really great chemistry. Did I even say the names of the characters? I'm just so caught up in the romance. Ray and Luke have really great chemistry. They're very sweet towards one another. And the series is more than the romance. There's also the mother and daughter relationship, friendship, and that Ray wants to become a mother herself. So it's dealing with all those different emotional levels, while also being like really cutesy and fun, but also like within the realm of, you know, real everyday life. So if you like that, then you're going to enjoy Marry Me. So you're probably saying, ooh, Brie, I see the outfit change. Love to see it. Or,
Do I want to know? I don't think so.
did my memory card fill up and I had to delay filming by 2 days? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's slightly unorganized.
That is without question the funniest story I've ever heard.
The next couple we have is one of my absolute favorites. Why? Because they're so young at heart. They're free-spirited, spontaneous, romantic. It's like they're 17 all over again.
It's a bit camp, but we'll go with it.
That's right, you guessed it. It is the 2000s classic 17 again, starring Tia and Tamera Mowry and Taj Mowry in this comedy, romance, drama. It's like a mix of them all. And I think they're coming up on their 25th anniversary. But before we celebrate that, we gotta talk about the premise. You have these lovely grandparents who come to watch and spend time with their grandchildren while the parents are away. But the grandparents have been recently divorced and they cannot stand the sight of each other. I mean, anytime they start a conversation, they're arguing, they can't stand to be in the same room with each other. But they did decide to come together for the grandchildren because they love them so much, and nothing's going to, you know, get in the way of that. Except one science experiment that their grandson does that goes terribly wrong. Their grandson, who is Bill Nye the Science Guy Jr. decides to conduct an experiment that has to do with like cells and DNA and youth. And the rest of the family is just trying to, you know, enjoy their visit while he's so focused on this experiment. And unfortunately, the soap that they're going to supply to the grandparents gets in this experiment.
Oh, I've caused a problem.
So you know what's gonna happen next. The grandparents are going to use the soap, and the next day, this stuff works really fast. Okay, overnight, they wake up and they are 17 again.
Whoa, just rewind and freeze.
Everyone is freaking out. The grandchildren are freaking out. The grandparents are really freaking out because now they have to deal with their grandparents being teenagers again. Not only what they were back in the day, but now in the early 2000s. So imagine that you now have your grandparents at school with you being 17 and interacting with all your friends and crushes and just school overall. It is wild. And then the most amazing part of this movie is that Kat and Jean originally fell in love at 17. So now they are that same age again, but they have all the memories that they had from the past. So they're trying to see how they fell in love, why they fell in love, and they get to discover trust, honesty, friendship. It is just really heartwarming, beautiful, and wholesome. And that is very hard to do because you have to maintain the relationship of older Kat and Jean and younger Kat and Jean and make it seem seamless. Their romance is so wonderful and whimsical. They really bring you on this journey of Jean and Kat's love story, both in the past and in the now. And there's this one scene where they go to a jazz club, and it's so reminiscent of their past, of like the music and the dancing. It is so well choreographed. The chemistry is It is a surprise to me when I look back on it, because I remember watching it on, I know originally it aired on Showtime, but then it came to Disney Channel, became extremely popular. I was like, I had to pause there. I was like, wait a minute, who is the band here? Because when I was younger, I was like, oh, you know, that's cool. Like, this is a cool jazz band. Come to find out, this is Boys to Men and Sean Stockman. Like, stop. Like, that's legendary in itself that you had, yeah, Boys to Men be your jazz band. They couldn't even do that in La La Land. Like, I have no words. So if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. You're gonna have so much fun that you're gonna wanna cut a rug with Jean and Kat because they're just so sweet. They're sweeter than sugar iced tea.
Sometimes I feel like I never really felt love, you know?
So how would you describe Young at Heart? Would it be true love, best friends, partners in crime? What about partners who solve crime? So that brings us to our next couple, which is Eliza and William from Miss Scarlet and the Duke. So Eliza is played by Kate Phillips. You might have seen her on Peaky Blinders. And William is played by Stuart Martin. This slow burn takes forever, but is it worth every moment? Yes. Sadly it is. So let me start you off with the premise. We have Eliza Scarlet, whose father recently passed away, and he was a private investigator. She takes it upon herself to revive his agency, not only because she likes being a detective and solving crimes, but she also needs to make money because right now she does not have a husband. And back in Victorian England, okay, a lot of women needed husbands to supply their needs, unfortunately, but she does not want to get married. She wants to be able to start her own business and make her own money. So she's becoming this very progressive woman of the time. So in order for her agency to become successful, she still needs to enlist the help of Scotland Yard, and that's where Detective Inspector Wellington comes in. But here's the caveat. They were childhood friends. Oh yes, we have a friends to lovers trope, people. Come together, come all together now. We have a friends to lovers trope. We love to see the backstory and the banter and the longing. It's all there. And you know what gets me every time is that they always want the best for each other. Even if they don't like what the decisions they make sometimes, or they don't always agree, they will always put the other one first. And I'm like, that's beautiful. Let's talk about the longing stares, because everybody knows, yeah, with romance, either it's the hands, it's the longing stares, or like they love declaring monologues. But when I tell you, every time they looked at one another, I was like, should I be in the room? Like, this is all the tension and the passion. But yes, I just can't. Oh, the way Detective Wellington looks at me. I mean, Eliza.
Ooh, no, she did not.
An incredible show. You should watch it, have fun, solve the mysteries, and you'll be like, oh, I'm so smart. And also have like an incredible romance. What's not to love? It's incredible. So I had so much fun talking about all these couples with y'all. If you have any recommendations that you'd like to place in the comments down below about maybe romances that I may not know about or that we may not know about on the channel, please feel free to tell me so that way we can talk about it. Maybe I can research it, talk about it on the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, why not? This is a romance channel. You like romance, I like romance. Let's talk romance. It's gonna be great. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I'd be glad to talk to you. And I hope you have a comfy and cozy rest of your day.